Hey guys, and welcome back to Jessen Reads Romance. I'm Jessen, and today is a very special book haul because today is actually my birthday, and I treated myself. I bought some books. Some of them I already own as ebooks, but I wanted like the physical copy. So I'm really excited to show you guys what I got, and I'm just really excited. The first book that I have is actually one of the few that I haven't read before. It's The Roommate by Rosie Danan. Now, I've heard a lot about this book. Making Waves. I did see it on NetGalley, and I was trying to limit the arcs that I was getting, so I would just decided to wait on this, but I've been hearing a lot of praise about it. From what I read about this book, I think I'm really gonna like it. At least I have high hopes for it because it kind of shares a little bit of similarity with one of my favorite Mariana Zapata books, Lingus, which involves a porn star hero. This book, the hero is actually the surprise roommate of the heroine. She moves cross country. She's expecting to room with her childhood crush, and he ends up by like flaking on her, and I guess she puts out an ad for a roommate, and she gets this guy who is a porn star. And so this is their romance, and I'm really excited about it because Lingus is like one of the most underrated Mariana Zapata books, and I love it so much. We did a podcast on it. I love Tristan. Anyway, I'm excited to read this book, and I hope it lives up to the hype. Now, the next few I've actually already read, and I love, but I wanted a physical copy of the book. So the first few that I have are by Kennedy Ryan. I needed the physical copies for these books. You know, I've harped about Grip being one of my favorite series of all time. So I really love Kennedy Ryan's writing style. I love the characters. I love the balance of emotional and sexual tension. It's just amazing the way that she writes these characters. Her newest release was the All the King's Men series, and I wanted a physical copy of The Kingmaker and Rebel King. This is a duet, same couple, and I love it. These are so good. We're actually reviewing them on the podcast in October. I just announced our episodes that we were doing in October, and this is going to be the first one, the first week of October. I think it's October 7th, but don't quote me. It's the Wednesday, the first Wednesday in October. So I'm really excited to have those physical copies. And then I did not have the Hoop series in paperback, and the cover models for this series are so beyond gorgeous. It's insane. This long shot is also one of my favorite books by Kennedy Ryan. August and Iris have the most epic romance. There is content warning, heavy sexual abuse and emotional abuse, domestic violence in this book, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it. August just is one of my all-time favorite heroes. He's a sweetheart, he's a cinnamon roll, and I just love him. I love the way that he loves Iris, and I will never forget his line, "I'd play you at the 5," which means that he'd put Iris at the center of his world. And why is Kennedy Ryan so romantic? I just love it. The next book in the series is Blockshot, and this is August's stepbrother, Jared, and Banner. I love Banner. She's such a badass. They're both sports agents, and this is a second chance romance, but also enemies to lovers. They had a falling out when they were in college. A misunderstanding happened, and it's content warning for kind of like fat shaming at the beginning, but I really love the woman that Banner grows into. And if you read Blockshot, make sure that you read the second epilogue and also the Hoops Holidays novella that they have in there. I just really like what Kennedy Ryan has written for this couple. And then the final one is Hookshot. The cover model that she got for Keenan is just beyond perfection. Where did she find these cover models? I have no idea, but they're gorgeous. And the heroine is actually Iris's cousin, Lotus. Iris is the heroine from Longshot and Keenan, and they kind of had were dancing around each other for a long time. And Iris does have a little bit of voodoo magic going on because their grandmother practiced voodoo, and we do have a couple of Louisiana scenes, which I love to see. I actually remember when we reviewed Longshot on the podcast, I'd mentioned Juliette and I were just chatting, and the city that her grandmother lived in, St. Martin, and St. Martinville is actually the city where I grew up in, and I was like, I wonder if that's kind of like the city that she was kind of referencing, and Kennedy Ryan was like, yep, that's the area. And so it was just really cool because we're like small town Cajun country, Acadiana, west of New Orleans and stuff like that. Anyway, I just really enjoyed it. Also, content warning for this too, sexual abuse, and also I think attempted suicide. Look, Kennedy Ryan's books are not for the faint of heart, but I don't think They're not the angstiest books I've ever read. You know how I am about angst, and I just think she does such a phenomenal job about it, and yeah, I love them. The next two books that I have are by Rebecca Weatherspoon. It's Rafe and Zinni. I've talked about Zinni a lot because I love this book, but Rafe is a buff male nanny. I love a male nanny trope. It's awesome. The heroine is a single mother and she has two twin girls. She's a doctor, she's successful, and she hires Rafe to sit for her kids, and he is just adorable. I love this romance so much. Thank you to Not Your Mom's Romance Book Club podcast for suggesting this book. They actually reviewed it on their podcast, and that's how I found Rafe, and I didn't know what I was missing in my life. It was just amazing. And then we have Zinni. Zinni is amazing. First of all, this book cover. Can we just pause and admire this gorgeous book cover? Look at this cover. It is one of my favorite book covers, like, of all time. I just love the colors, love the attitude. I just love the confidence and the natural hair. It's just all working for me. I just really love it. And both of these characters are bisexual, and there's lots of sexy times. There is pegging, and I do believe that Rebecca Weatherspoon said that she slipped fisting in here, and I did not. I missed it. There's just so much going on, and like I didn't even notice. But both of these characters are plus size characters. There are very few books that I've read that the hero is actually plus size, and I'm really here for it. He's also a ginger, so I don't know. Rebecca Weatherspoon, do you have a thing for gingers? Because Rafe is also a ginger. Then we have Truly by Carmel Rhodes. This is a book that I recently read, and it's a dark romance. It is new adult. Truly graduates from high school, and her boyfriend breaks up with her on graduation day, which is horrible, but she has something to look forward to. Her mom, who passed away whenever she was younger, actually did a road trip after she graduated high school. So she is going on the same exact road trip and hitting all the spots that her mom did. She's reading her diary while she does it, but this is a dark romance. The hero is an anti-hero. There are some questionable consent scenes. It's non-consensual scenes are in this book. And if you don't like dark romance, then you will not like this book, and it's not for the faint of heart. When I get in the mood for dark romance, like, this is the type of stuff that I really love. I love the writing. This is the first book I ever read by Carmel Rhodes. Her writing is phenomenal. Her characters were really intriguing, and I just really liked her writing style. This cover is gorgeous too. The purple is like one of my favorite colors, so yes, love. And then I ordered a signed copy of Mad and Bad by B. Koch. She is co-owner with her sister Leah of The Rip Bodice, which is an independently owned romance bookstore. That's right, all romance all the time. I'm sure you've heard of them, and if you haven't, then you're welcome. This book is not like a romance book. B delves into real life figures of the Regency that are sometimes overlooked, talking about women who are overlooked that were from the LGBTQ community, the Jewish community. I think women of color, scientists, all these powerful women who tend to get overlooked in Regency time period, and I'm so excited about it. And you can see it signed right here. So I'm very excited about that. I'm so proud. I'm so happy for her. Her first published novel. Now, the next few books I wouldn't categorize as romance either, but she's probably a familiar name if you've watched my previous videos, my journey of what I used to read and what I read now. She's definitely mentioned in here. It's Juliette Marie, and I have not read her Blackthorn and Grimm series, so I decided to get the whole entire series, which is these 3 books. It's a trilogy, and I believe there are romantic elements in here from what I've heard, but I would classify Juliette Marie as a historical fantasy writer, and there's lots of Irish mythology. The Fae are present in there. I just really love her writing style, and I can't believe it's taken me this long to go back and grab this series. So I'm really excited. As you guys know, I've mentioned Daughter of the Forest being like one of my favorite romantic books. It's not a romance because it is historical fantasy, but I love that book so much. And then I also grabbed her first 2 books in her Warrior Bard series. This is the one that she's currently writing. I had no idea. I had fallen off the Juliette Marie radar, but I believe that the heroine of this book, she is a singer, expert whistle player, and she wants to be a warrior. So she trains to be a warrior, and she turns into the spy, and I think she goes along with her brother on missions. So I'm really excited about this. I don't know what her romantic interest is going to be. Usually Juliette Marie always has a romantic interest, but of course the focus of the book is more on the epic adventure and stuff like that. So I just love it. These covers are so awesome. And yeah, I'm just living for them. And the last three are by Catherine Arden. These are also historical fantasy. These deal in Russian like folklore, fairy tales. The Bear and the Nightingale, I think, was one of my favorite books of 2018. I think it was published in 2018. I get so swept away in the fantasy, and I love when elements of folklore from other cultures are included. So this is like my catnip. When I'm not in romance, I'm in this, and I don't often go back from romance to this type of book. And I had only read The Bear and the Nightingale. I did not read The Girl in the Tower, I think is the next one. The Girl in the Tower, I did not read it. I don't think this is the same characters though. And if it is, then I'm completely mistaken. I just bought them because I was so impressed by The Bear and the Nightingale. I didn't even need to know anything about The Girl in the Tower. And the third book cover, it's my favorite. I just love it. Look at that, Winter of the Witch. Gorgeous, fiery. It reminds me kind of like Sarah Douglas and stuff like that. A little bit of romance and stuff in there, but I just love it. And I think that's why Ilona Andrews is one of my favorite urban fantasy romance writers, because Ilona and Gordon really do their research for folklore and including other cultures in their books. The Kate Daniel series has like some epic magical scenes that obviously were heavily researched by Ilona and Gordon, and I just love Ilona Andrews. I can't speak highly enough of that writing duo. They were my total favorites. Okay guys, that's all that I have for you today. I am going to meet with my family. We're gonna have dinner and just hang out. It's actually very overcast today, but I love it because for the past, I don't know, decade, it's been so hot on my birthday. In Louisiana, we barely get any cold weeks, and whenever it is cold, it's like freezing. It'll like ice over for like 2 weeks straight, and then we'll go back to like warm weather. But anyway, today is like in the 70s. It's overcast. This is kind of like my type of weather. I like this like dark and dreary type of stuff, and it's because we get so much sun. It's just annoying, and I don't like the heat. I prefer winter because we don't have it. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you haven't already subscribed, please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you have not already, because you'll get notified on any future videos that I will be doing. And I have a couple more book hauls planned and an exciting ranking. I'm going to rank the books of a particular author, and I can't wait to do that. It might be a little controversial, but I think it's going to be really fun. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, life's better with a little HEA. Bye guys.